Coming to you live from TFBN Towers, this is TFBN News. I'm your host Rugi-san, and I'm joined today by Eskimolander. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Rigi-san. In this month's first piece of gaming news, we have something that has very little to do with gaming. Famous YouTuber PewDiePie, as well as Oculus Rift creator Palmer Luckey, have been put up as two of the most influential people in the world by very famous and reputable magazine Time. Recently, South Park co-creator Trey Parker wrote an essay for Time referring to PewDiePie as the Pied Piper of YouTube. In a statement, he said, "I know it might seem weird, especially to those of us from an older generation, that people would spend so much time watching someone else play video games." Parker said, "But I choose to see it as the birth of a new art form, and I don't think anyone should underestimate its most powerful artists." And in the case for Lucky, he received a very kind endorsement from Ridley Scott, director of Gladiator and Black Hawk Down.
And Alien.
Sure, that too. That's not in the article I'm reading.
Carry on.
He described him as an architect of new worlds and opened up a new world of storytelling, which is very true considering he invented the Oculus Rift, which is one of the original, if not the first, VR headset that came out.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a few others now, but Oculus Rift was the first, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
They're the only two people in Time's list this year that have direct ties to gaming. Last year they had Anita Sarkeesian, who went viral due to some video she made regarding feminism and video gaming, which, if I remember correctly, didn't get very good, wasn't viral for good reasons. And then in 2013, Notch, who we all know is the creator of Minecraft, was on the list. And in 2007, they had designer Shigeru Miyamoto, who works with Nintendo. And then other big people that made it on the list this year that aren't related to gaming are Kathleen Kennedy, who is apparently the president of Lucasfilm, Charlize Theron, Donald Trump, and Ronda Rousey. That's all.
So they're in with some esteemed company there. Moving back to gaming news, Bethesda's parent company ZeniMax, some time ago now, filed several trademarks for something called Starfield. Nobody knows what the hell Starfield is, presumably not even ZeniMax, because they filed a variety of trademarks for computer and console games, t-shirts and other merchandise, and a new one recently for mobile games. This doesn't necessarily confirm that Starfield is going to be a mobile game, but it is looking that way when you consider that Bethesda have already been talking about how they wish to make more mobile games in the future following the success of their first one, Fallout Shelter. The second Bethesda mobile game is the Elder Scrolls Legends, which is coming later this year. So that's something to look forward to.
In much sadder gaming news, Lionhead Studios, the creator of the Fable series, Fable 1, 2, 3, and most recently Fable Legends, have closed up shop, which is quite sad for me as I'm quite the fan of the Fable games. A little history on Lionhead is it was founded by Peter Molyneux in 1996, and in 2006 is when Microsoft bought them out. Later on in 2012, Molyneux, who is the original founder of Lionhead, left Microsoft as well as the Lionhead company. This year on March 7th, Microsoft revealed it had ceased development of Fable Legends, which was an MMO that had been praised at being high graphic, high story, what fans wanted from the Fable series, and the devs originally reported that it would run for 10 years or more. That's how much confidence they had in it. And I think less than a year since its beta opened, and before its beta ever finished, it is being shut down. It's really quite the sad situation. In a very bittersweet note, the last day that the studio was open, its Twitter was flooded by pictures and posts from its employees and their condolences of how they felt with the shutdown of the company. It's quite sad.
In other sad gaming news, Microsoft has announced that it will be discontinuing production on the Xbox 360 games console. The console was originally launched in 2015, so it's been going for a good 11 years now. Um, they've finally decided that it's time to end production. Um, Xbox lead Phil Spencer states that the Xbox 360 helped redefine an entire generation of gaming at Microsoft. Um, he goes on to say that the 360 meant a lot to everybody, and while they've had an amazing run, the realities of manufacturing a product over a decade old are starting to creep up on us. The Xbox One is currently Microsoft's main console, and there are now plenty of rumors circulating that the company will be launching uh, the so-called Xbox One and a half, which is a model allegedly specifically designed for virtual reality. And on that note, some of the rumors surrounding this new Xbox One and a half, which by the way began to surface days after details about Sony's rumored PS 4.5 came about, stated that the new Xbox One would have upgradable components like a PC that you would be able to chop and change. Again, Xbox lead Phil Spencer did come out and say that you, and I quote here, won't be opening up your Xbox One with a screwdriver to install new parts. He did, however, say that Microsoft will eventually come out with new hardware capability during a generation. So what I think this means is that they are specifically optimizing the Xbox One for virtual reality, and this is sort of indicated by the fact that there was a Federal Communications Commission filing that shows Microsoft is experimenting with a new Xbox One wireless chip, which is something that would be required for high quality virtual reality gaming. Incidentally, the non-disclosure agreement with the FCC suspiciously ends just 2 weeks after Microsoft's briefing at E3 this year. So stay tuned to TFBN News for further updates.
In further news of things being taken down, first Fable, then Xbox 360, and now Zelda. Well, sort of. A Zelda fan game that was made in honor of the series' 30th anniversary has been taken off the web by Nintendo themselves. The game was browser-based. It was a 3D version of the original Legend of Zelda. Sort of. It wasn't the complete game. It was only the first couple of dungeons. Like I said previously, it was just made as a tribute, as a way to celebrate the 30th anniversary and to encourage, as a treat for older players and as well as to encourage new players to come check it out. Though there was a statement saying that from the creator that Nintendo did ask them to remove the site for copyright infringement. They also added on saying that I guess Zelda 30 Tribute was a little too pixel perfect. They have removed the game. They do say that once they removed all the Nintendo-owned assets, they will be uploading the code online so that others can use it to learn about coding and things along those lines. Considering just this past February marked the 30-year anniversary of the original Legend of Zelda's release for the Famicom in Japan, this news does come as a little bittersweet, as Nintendo themselves did not do anything in celebration.
Moving across to Mojang news here. Since the success of Minecraft, Mojang haven't really done a whole lot. They brought out Cobalt. That's been about it. But now they have a new game, or at least one of the Mojang developers have come out with a new game. It is available for free. It's called Crown and Council, and it looks suspiciously like a very pixelated version of Crusader Kings. It's according to the Mojang blog, it's a fast-paced strategy game about conquering land and obliterating rival monarchs. Click adjacent land tiles to subdue them with your army, earning gold to fund further expeditions, defensive forts, naval attacks, universities, and more. Muscle your opposition off the map. There can only be one ruler in these lands. Apparently it's a very straightforward game. There's nothing too complicated, which is going to be a major difference to CK2. It's sort of a cross between Crusader Kings and Civilization, I guess. The game was created by one person from Mojang staff called Henrik Pedersen. It uses, similar to Minecraft, it uses procedural generation systems to create maps. And as I mentioned earlier, you can download it from Steam for free. And there is very, very, very modest system requirements. And the file size is only 300 megabytes. So it should be easy enough to play for just about everybody.
It sounds just perfect to me. Moving on to our last piece of news. Texas-based Precision Syndicate, which is a gun manufacturing company, have made a custom-made gun styled to look like the NES Zapper, primarily used for Duck Hunt, compatible with a few other games on the NES, but everyone I know use it for Duck Hunt. And it's very realistic. It looks exactly like the gun, the gray version of the gun, because some people might have owned an orange one, which it looks nothing like. In more not-so-game-related news, Precision Syndicate, a custom gun making company in Texas, of course it's in Texas, has made a gun styled to look just like the NES Zapper, primarily used for the game Duck Hunt. It is noted that it looks like the gray version of the gun, so for those that owned an orange one, it doesn't quite look the same. They do say that the gun was made custom for a friend, but when pictures of it went online, they very quickly became viral and for all the wrong reasons. Considering the NES Zapper is obviously associated with the NES, and of course the Duck Hunt game with which it comes with, it also stands to reason that it's often associated with children. And as a result of this, many parents took to Facebook and other various forms of social media to tear the Precision team a new one. Comments went everywhere from saying that they thought that it was wrong, that parents think it's wrong and that it shouldn't be sold, which it wasn't in the first place, to death threats and telling them that they hope Child Services takes away the team's own children, as they are clearly irresponsible parents, because they made a gun that vaguely looks like a child's toy. Child's toy. Because it's not just for children, and it's not technically a toy. The Precision team did reply by stressing that families should please keep your guns locked up and away from children. It's just common sense. The Precision team is also the same one responsible for the Nintendo Glock, apparently, which is something that went viral a few months back. I don't know the full details of that. I do vaguely remember hearing of it, though. Even through all the negativity, Precision seems to have just gone straight over it and said that they're very happy with how the gun came out, and did repeat that it was made for a friend and it's not available for sale. But they said they were very impressed with how it looked, and that they think it looks just like the original peripheral for the NES. So it's good to see that even through all the negativity, they're just brushing it off. Mind you, they are a custom gun manufacturer, so it's not like they take any of the threats they receive seriously. They've got more than enough defense available to them.
To protect themselves.
Of course. And moving on to this month's gaming releases, we have Battleborn for the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC, Superhot for Xbox One, Tabletop Racing World Tour for PlayStation 4, Tropico 5 for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4, Stellaris for the PC, Mega Tag Mention Blanc plus Neptune vs. Zombies for PlayStation Vita, Uncharted 4 A Thief's End, that I forgot to write what it was available on.
PS4.
On PS4, thank you very much. Doom for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Homefront The Revolution on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC. Valkyria Chronicles Remastered PlayStation 4, Overwatch on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PC, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan for Xbox One, Xbox 360, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, and PC, Total War Warhammer for PC, Kittypocalypse for the Oculus Rift, Excubator, yes, that's correct, on PC, Mac, and Linux, and then One Piece Burning Blood on Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and PlayStation Vita. And that will conclude the TFBN news for this month of May 2016. If you want to hear us discuss the stories a little bit further and more in depth, please make sure to click through to the TFBN podcast, link in the description below, also a link available on the screen in front of you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next month.